je, non, je vais, des Français, bonjour. Comment? I think that's it. Let's do this. Parlez-vous un peu de français. Hey, my name is Alicia. I make videos on lifestyle improvement, life hacks, and DIYs. And today's DIY is language learning. Français, un peu de français, un peu de français, okay? I'm gonna share with you in this video how I'm gonna go about with 7 steps learning French due to my past failures, okay? These are just 7 tips of what I'm going to be doing. I was gonna make a video of how I did it, but I want to take you along the journey with me. So definitely make sure you subscribe and hit that bell if you want to know how this progress goes. And we can learn a language together. So I'm going to tell you these 7 tips of what I'm going to be doing for the entire month. And then we'll recap within 30 days. And we'll let you know what worked, didn't work. And I'll just show you my progress along the way. So make sure you hit that bell if you don't want to miss those videos. We're learning together. All right. First tip on how to learn a language by yourself. Download a learning app. If you keep just reviewing and finding out which one's the best, you're not gonna know unless you really try them all. So as much as I can say, do this one or do that one, you pick, you decide what app you wanna use for 30 days. And the good thing is, if it sucked, you just download a new one. And a lot of them have 7-day trials, free trials, 30-day trials. So you can probably even try it for the month without even using any money. From my experience, this month I'm going to be using 3 apps because my attention span is very small. So the 3 apps I'm going to be using is Duolingo, Babbel, and Memrise. I have used the free memberships on all 3 of them, and I'm going to keep the free one for Memrise, but I decided I want to invest just a little money, so I'm now paying for my subscription for Babbel and Duolingo. And I will make another video on paid and unpaid apps, and we'll talk about that another time. Comment below if you want to know about that, but I'm just going to tell you that's number 1. Download that app, download it. Tip number 2, follow influencers on social media that are in your target language. So for me, I'm learning French, so I'm going to be following French influencers on the apps that I use. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. So on all 3 platforms, I'm going to be following French influencers. So I'm already on social media. What's going to add to my French learning is if I start seeing French influencers making posts, forces me to read the caption in French and even read the comments below if I want to see how people are using, certain slang or dialect and so forth. I can do that. And the great thing about Instagram is sometimes they'll have that translation. So if you can kind of guess, okay, I thought they were saying this, and click the translation and see if you're right at all. Which makes the learning a lot more fun than just, actually learning the language and memorizing 1,000 vocab words. So I definitely encourage that on your social media, incorporating it into your life. And it's kind of fun finding new people who are in your niches. So don't follow somebody who talks about science and French, or in your target language. That's boring. So I follow maybe Black French influencers, maybe people who do beauty and lifestyle. So they're still saying the things that I like, but in another language that I'm trying to learn. So that's a lot of fun. Tip number 3, learn a song in your target language. So for me, I'm gonna be learning a French song, 1 per month. Before, I used to just throw on Spotify and listen to all these French songs, and I had fun listening to it, but I still never knew what the songs were, honestly what they were saying. So now I'm compacting it to, hey, we're gonna learn 1 song a month. Literally learn the song, the lyrics, and then next month learn another song. So by the end of the year, you've learned 12 songs in your target language compared to just oh, I've heard of that song, I think it's something about a cat. It's what are you really learning? Because when you're learning by yourself, you don't really get to move on to, Spanish 1, French 1, French 2. This is a great way for you at the end of the year, into the 30 days, into the 6 months, however long you want to do it. You can say, hey, this is what I learned. This is an actual tangible thing I can experience, singing a song in that language. So if you want to know how to do that specifically, I can make a whole video about that, but just real briefly, look up the lyrics, get it in that language, and then also put the translation so you know what you're saying and memorize it and break down the song. If you want more detail on that, comment below and I can make a video on how do you really go about that process of learning, okay? But we're going through these tips. I'm just trying to get to the point in this video, okay? Tip number 4, watch YouTube videos in your target language. So I'll be watching French YouTube videos in French. There's 2 ways to do this. If you're in the beginning phase and you're really trying to just learn a language, I would recommend watching it in English captions, and you're gonna start to like learn and hear the words while you're reading in English. If you're intermediate and you're just trying to brush up a little bit, I could recommend your captions be in that language, because sometimes it's easier to read the language than to hear it, because reading it, you can read it just a little bit slower. So for me, I really need to brush up. So for the first 30 days, couple weeks, I'm gonna have English subtitles, and then when I feel more comfortable, when I feel like I know a more vocab, then I will be doing the captions in French so that I'm reading French and listening to French at the same time. Do it. It's basically what YouTube is for. You know, you always go on YouTube to learn something. Just add this, add this. And that can range from YouTube channels that tell you specifically how to learn the language, or YouTube influencers and just watch their videos. Tip number 5, take no days off. I know sometimes if you're studying in school, you might study Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday through Friday. You get 2 days off. If you're learning a language, the reason why they say live in that country to really learn it is because you get no days off. If you're living in a country, you can't be like, I'm not gonna speak the language today. You can't do that. So the same thing for this. If you're really trying to learn a language, do not take a single day off. I know in the beginning, I used to be overwhelmed and be like, I'm gonna study 2-3 hours a day. And then you almost are begging for a day off because it's so much overwhelming knowledge consumed in your brain. You know, just do 7 days a week, 1 hour a day. Keep it easy. If you get bored, you want to do more, that's fine. But just make a minimum of 1 hour a day, 7 days a week. And on your weekends, if you don't want to feel like it's like school, maybe that's when you spend an hour and you're really just watching it. Watch a movie, watch YouTube videos. Instead of really going over the verbal part, maybe you spend the weekends just listening. Switch it up if you want to, but make sure you're listening to that language minimum. 1 hour a day, 7 days a week. Okay? It's fun. You want to learn the language anyways. You're picking it. You're picking the language you want to learn. And that kind of goes into tip number 6. So when you're doing it 7 days a week, I am specifically saying 1 hour a day because our attention span can only really last that long. So that can range from 1 hour of learning, and then you can do 20 minutes of social media, 20 minutes of watching something, or you could do 30 minutes of learning, and the second 30 minutes is watching and listening and so forth. You get to create it as long as your brain is consuming this knowledge and you don't feel like in school, you just feel like it's coming at you, I'm learning the language, it's not fun, we're just beating a dead horse. At least that's how I feel. So for me, I need to keep things fun. That's why I have 3 apps, because just one is too boring. It's boring for me. So in order for me to enjoy this process and have fun, I have multiple apps. I do have multiple ways of learning. I'm not just opening a book or just doing one thing. So find out what works for you and make it fun. 1 hour, at least 1 hour. You could always do more, but at least do one. And the 7th tip, the last tip of how to learn a foreign language, is to vlog your process weekly or monthly. Sometimes you don't know what your progress even looks like. You started with, no habla español, un peu de français, and now you're like, I know how to say eat. Is that all I learned? Really vlog your process. You can do video or you can do audio. So on video, you might record yourself and just sit at the camera and say everything you could possibly say in that language. And then in 30 days, see if you're just saying the same things or are you saying more. Or in audio, read something, maybe read a paragraph, and then 30 days, read it again. Does your enunciation, your pronunciation sound better? Really just be your own progress report and be able to see it, because sometimes we don't feel that way, but when we're listening to ourselves, when we're watching ourselves, you're like, oh, who's that foreigner?
Parlez-vous français? Hi, I'm Hallie. I live in California. Je m'appelle Hallie, je vis en Californie.
Who's that bilingual cutie speaking? And I thought I didn't know a single thing. So let the audio and the video speak for itself when we're really insecure and feel like we know absolutely nothing. But that's it. Those are my 7 tips of what I'm going to be doing for this entire month to learn a language. DIY style, not going to a school, not going to a tutor, but really just learning ourselves. I'm going to be doing this language learning for an entire year, each month showing you my progress, tips and tricks, apps I recommend. Definitely hit the bell and subscribe, or comment below if there's an app you've been wanting to try and you want me to try. Because even though I have my standard 3, you know, I'm still ready to explore some more. There's a part of me that still wants to try Pimsleur. If there's any other learning language apps you want me to try, go ahead and comment below and I'll do that for you. I'm giving myself a budget of how much I'm willing to spend for the year, and it's really small. Whenever I try something new, I kind of give myself a $300 budget, and I've only spent less than $100. For my tube subscriptions, Babbel I think was 40 something, and so was Duolingo. It was 40 something for 6 months. I can go deeper into each app in another video. Just let me know in the comments below. Just let me know what we doing here for this language learning. What do you want to know on the journey? Because I'm going to be starting that series as well. But I'm done talking. Not making this video any longer. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, hitting the bell, and all that jazz. And I'll see you next time. Peace, love, and balance. And language learning.